Okay, and then another thing I want to talk to you about is an issue that's caused the Labour government a few problems, has been the Three Waters legislation, and also there's been a bit of a controversy around the term co-governance. How would you describe co-governance?
Co-governance? Well, it's a treaty partnership. You know, it just comes back to the 1840 signing of the treaty, and that's a relationship that Māori tangata whenua have with the Crown, and it's a 50-50 relationship. You know, it's a partnership. So, yeah, I mean, they've used co-governance as the title, but treaty partnership you could replace easily with co-governance. Yeah. But it's about Māori, iwi, mana whenua, tangata whenua being at the decision-making tables, and water, you know, that's huge. Yeah. It's huge for Māori, it's huge for everyone. Yeah, I was at a water conference recently. There's a global water crisis going on out there. So it's impacting all people, all cultures, all nations, and having Māori at the table, that to me is a benefit. We can bring so much more than how we've done things in the past. Yeah. You know, there's indigenous knowledge that can support infrastructure, that can support the way that we look at water, because at the end of the day, we need to have enough water for everyone to use. We need water for drinking, we need water for industry, and having a Māori lens alongside, you know, everyone else is a good thing.
Who owns the water in New Zealand?
Ownership is, I mean, that is probably a good topic that we need to traverse as a people, eh? Because it's kind of the elephant in the room. At the moment, water is governed and allocated through a regional council kind of allocation process. Eh? Yeah. And so you have rights to water that are being not so much sold, but allocated. Yeah. Yeah. And what we say as iwi is that we need to be, just like I mentioned with the treaty partnership, 50-50, we need to be sitting at that table as well. Yeah. Because allocation it's so important. Yeah. It's so important because if you over allocate, which we've kind of done here in Hawke's Bay, that leaves. Well, you've got a whole lot of water sitting amongst a few industries, and you've got a whole lot of people over here without water. And so it's about having equity around water allocation. But you know, I'm keen to have that conversation around who owns it. Yeah. We have a view that iwi Māori, we have rights and interests in water. But we're not saying, hey, give all that water to us. We're saying we could work at a partnership relationship with councils and the local central government around how water is used more efficiently for the betterment of all people. Yeah.
So you're not wanting necessary authority over it. You just want to be part of the decision making.
We're a key. We need to be a key partner in how we allocate and how we use water. And it's not the case at the moment. Hasn't been the case ever, and so we need to move to that paradigm.
Because this whole co-governance is getting quite a few people riled up, and there's even a group going around and having meetings and that. And you took the step of writing an open letter, basically saying, look, to one of the venues, you know, don't hold this meeting, and else you'll have the iwi sort of to answer to. Why do you feel so strongly about it?
About that particular meeting, or about that?
Yeah. Well, about the sort of sentiment, the people that are going. And
for that meeting and that organisation that's running those meetings. If you look up the country where those meetings have been had, I mean, it's divisive for the community. You know, we're trying to be inclusive. Yeah. We're trying to say that having Māori at the table is not a divisive decision. Yeah. You know, it's actually good for people. We're trying to say that, hey, having Māori sitting along, and hey, I've been on councils. I've been sitting at tables for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's been good for our region.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll say that 100% of the time.
Yeah.
But what they're saying is that no, you know, they're trying to, they've got a polarising position that co-governance, there's nothing to be gained from co-governance.
Yeah.
And that's very divisive. It's going to split our communities through the middle. And what we're trying to say is that we can work with local government, we can work with Pākehā, we can work with anyone.
Yeah.
Because what we bring to the table, no one else can bring to the table. Yeah.
Do you think race relations in New Zealand and in Hawke's Bay have got better or worse over time?
I think they got better.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they've gotten better. I mean, there are flames that are being fanned by a minority within the community. Eh? But when I'm out there talking, and you know, I talk to a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like you know, things are starting to turn. But you know, we can get caught up in some of the rhetoric.
Yeah.
But it's only it's a minority of people trying to push this divisive kaupapa.
Some politicians as well.
Oh yeah, no, that's right.
David Seymour, Winston
that's right.
Peters.
So if you look at the ages and stages of some of these people that are pushing this kaupapa, you know, they're moving on. But if I'm thinking about the young people that are coming through, they've got a totally different outlook, because they understand that we're not going anywhere. We're actually going to be more populated with Māori here in New Zealand in the next 20 years than we ever have. You know, we're going to have more Māori, our kids are coming through, more educated. So, you know, I think people trying to say that, hey, we need to go back to 1820, this is crazy stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going there.
Yeah.
We're not going there.
Yeah.
So let's sit around and talk. I can talk to anyone, you know. It's not about me not wanting to have these discussions. I want to have these discussions. But when you're coming into our town, trying to flame division between iwi, mana whenua, and our Pākehā relations, you know, that's not good for anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you hopeful though that these sort of things can be overcome?
Yeah, I am hopeful.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they are challenging discussions because, you know, some people have been raised to think that, you know, it's only it's a vanilla society that we live in, but that's not the reality. Yeah. And you know, I'm of the mind that we can have a conversation, we can have a cup of Milo and talk about how you see the world. I can talk about how I see the world, and you know, find the middle ground. But yeah, I know I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that we can move forward. And if you know, if I'm looking at the leaders in Hawke's Bay, you know, I know every mayor, and we can have a robust discussion about, you know, where the future is. Yeah. And each of them will say that iwi Māori is a key part of that future. Yeah. No one's saying otherwise. Yeah.